All right, welcome everybody. David Feldman-Makrias back at it again. And today what we're going to talk about is the campaigns that all car dealers should have in Google Ads and what they look like. I feel as though a lot of agencies, marketers, and people in the space struggle with contextualizing what the ad or end result looks like for the specified client or stakeholder. Meaning, I get a lot of feedback saying, what does this ad look like? What does it mean? Where does it show up? So on and so forth. So today, not only are we going to go over the types of campaigns that car dealers should have within Google Ads as of, January 2024, but we will also show examples of what those campaigns actually look like inside the Google search result, I should say. All right, let's move forward. So, without further ado, we're going to use this handy-dandy spreadsheet. And we have the types of campaigns. Boom, VLAs, new model classic search, branding, competitor, and service. All right, that's it, guys. Have a good day. No, just kidding. So these are the types of campaigns, right? They're not the type of Google Ads. How do I say? Google Ads defines types of campaigns differently, but this is specified towards the car dealer and automotive market, okay? So I'm going to go through one by one, each of them here, show some contextualization, and we'll go from there. So the first one being VLAs. So VLAs, without further ado, are these ads up here, okay? I just switched to an incognito window. I have examples of all of these types of ads pulled up, and I looked up new Ford F-150 for sale. So these ads here, which shows an image, a title of a vehicle, and the MSRP. Notice there's no discount or anything. Also, the status of the vehicle, either new or pre-owned, and the website of who's sponsoring that ad and where they're located. That's all a vehicle listing ad can show. They cannot show discount. They cannot show any other custom text, but notice that it is the top placement. You might be familiar with this style if you've ever looked up anything on Google to purchase that maybe isn't a vehicle. If you go on the shopping placement and you look for other things, you'll see these types of ads for book bags, sneakers, watches, what have you. Now, and for a while now, for the last year and a half, 2 years, we've seen this vehicle ads placement. So these are called vehicle listing ads. Now, I do recommend you saturate these, especially if you're selling new cars or pre-owned vehicles. You saturate these as much as possible. They are pretty cost effective, at least right now, compared to other types of ads that we're going to go through. Cost per click ranging, I'm usually base my ads in the Chicagoland Metro, so cost per click's ranging within 50 cents to $1.50 or $2 a click, depending upon what we're trying to do. So there's a specific way to optimize vehicle listing ads for specific cars. So like, let's say you're a Ford dealer and you want to advertise F-150, Escape, and Bronco Sport, let's say. You would not, our best recommendation, and this might be getting too much into the weeds, but you would not necessarily want to have one campaign for all three of those vehicles. You want to separate your campaigns out. So that's what we find to be most effective for our dealers. If you have any more questions on that, leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to go over more vehicle listing ad strategy and campaign strategy if it so requires. However, this video is not for that. It's just to show what types of campaigns you should have and what they look like. So that is vehicle listing ads in a nutshell. Notice I should also be able to do used Ford F-150 for sale, and notice my results change. I get some 2021s, 2019s, so on and so forth. It does show used, it does show the miles, and it does show the price of where it's at. So those are example vehicle listing ads. Definitely recommend, that's why it's at the top of my list. Second, we have what I call new model classic search, okay? So the classic search ad, let's go here. I'm still have this new Ford F-150 for sale. I noticed this first ad is sponsored. This one's sponsored. I'm going to talk about this one here because this is an actual tier 3 or an individual single point store. This one here is Ford.com. So Ford.com tier 2 and tier 1, that's Ford OEM. So when we look here, we have Napleton, Ford, Libertyville, new Ford F-150, 2023 Ford F-150, Ford F-150. Not real thrilled about the ad copy there. That's pretty rough ad copy. There's not a lot of description text. It's pretty generic, but this does count as a classic search ad. Notice it's got the sponsored. It's triggered for, the keyword that we typed in. And this is what a new model classic search ad would be. There could be a lot better versions of this. Like even if I scroll down here, we have Curry Ford is another example. Buy a new Ford F-150, shop Curry Ford specials. New F-150 models are on the lot today. Huge inventory coming for a test drive. There's not a lot of description text in any of these ads. Notice that Ford.com has a lot, and then they have other site links and things like that as well. So I would critique these other stores. I mean, you can't base off all the results off of one example. There could be bidding things in here and reasons why that some of their assets didn't show up, but that's why there should be manual searches. But nevertheless, this is what a classic search ad looks like for a new model. Okay, so classic search meaning old-fashioned blue hyperlink, some description text, and then the little sponsored icon here. That's classic search. So that's new model classic search, and the rest of them are actually going to be versions of classic search, but we're going to get into branding, what that looks like, competitor, what that looks like, and service, what that looks like as well. So branding, that's going to be anything. I encompass like anybody searching for Ford dealer, which would be a dealer keyword, Ford or Ford F-150, very generic, that would be branding. And then name, like let's say I was going after Galpo Ford, right? Galpo Ford. Those are all different subsets of campaigns, all have different keywords, even though they all sound pretty much the same. So let me show you an example of what that means. If I go here, I looked up Ford dealer near me, okay? So what pops up is Curry Ford. Visit Curry Ford today, shop Curry Ford specials, over 100 new Ford models on lot, serving our community for over 30 years. Ford dealer Frankfurt open, closes at 9, and then some hyperlinks here. You also see an example for Fair Oaks Ford and ahford.net. Ford dealer near me is a great type of keyword to go after that counts within the branding campaigns, and these are actual examples of what that could look like. So with that, I'm not going to dive into the strategy of what keywords to use and what campaign style. I literally only want to show you what type of campaign you should have and then what it could potentially look like on the search result. So that is your branding example. Next, we have competitors. So this is interesting. There's multiple ways to do competitor ads. A lot of single point tier 3 dealerships, at least in the Chicagoland metro, actually go off and bid against the name or in the zones of their competitors. So, for example, if we have Ford dealer A and Ford dealer B, Ford dealer A might bid on the name Ford dealer B so they can show ads there. That would be an example of a competitor ad. So I do have an example of that. Note that competitor ads don't always work. It's a case-by-case basis. The manufacturers don't like competitor ads because, it's not something that they want to do. They don't want dealers to spend money, especially going after other same make competitors, meaning Ford A and Ford B. They want those to be separate as much as possible. At least that's the case with most manufacturers. I'm sure there's exceptions. But if I look at here's Naperville Jeep. I just looked up Naperville Jeep. The current dealer in Naperville is Castle, and they come up organically. And actually, these are only organic results. Let me try and get a competitor ad here. Unfortunately, I'm struggling to find a competitor ad example, and that makes sense because not everybody runs competitor ads. Costs per clicks can usually be pretty high, and it could be more of a less cost-effective option. But I have run competitor ads, and I am currently running competitor ads that are very effective. So let me just explain what it would look like. This is about the closest thing, but notice that these are organic results. How do we know they're organic results? Because they don't have the little sponsored next to it. Okay, so this one here is the organic result for Castle Dodge Jeep Ram, Naperville, Illinois, Aurora dealer. And then we have Ziegler here too, Ziegler, Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Naperville. So if this was a competitor ad strictly against the name, something we might see is this style of format, but we would see sponsored up here and sponsored up here. Or we would just see the competitor coming up first above the actual dealer that we typed in, and then it would register as sponsored. Yeah, that would be an example competitor ad. Let me see if I can try and find one here. If I type in a known store, oops. Let's type in Happy Hyundai. Unfortunately, I did not get that to hit, but yep. So with that, that's what we have. That's an example competitor ad. And the last one being service. So if you do have a budget that you want to go after for service, or you feel like your service department can actually do more business, there are different ways to strategize for service. So again, when I looked up Hyundai oil change, here's what I get. I get Hyundai service, but now this is Hyundai Service USA. Okay, so that is a tier 2, tier 1, which you will see more of. Interesting. Actually, these are all organic results. So let me try and find a sponsored result for you. Okay, perfect. So I just looked up Jeep oil change, and we have the sponsored result, DuPage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, DuPage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Jeep oil change, and that probably says service, little image extension, some other things here as well. So this would be an example of a service ad. So you can go after oil changes, parts, engine rebuilds. You can go after as specific as you would like, depending upon the search volume and what the cost of that would be. But that's what a service ad would actually look like. So really, to note, it's important here to note what everybody's keywords and strategies and budgets that you're going after, but these are the types of campaigns that you should be running. Now, if you have any interest in what type of strategies we use to actually be the most effective for VLAs, to be the most effective for a classic search, to get the best competitor ads cost, and get the best results from it, and actually see some of the more in-depth strategies, I'd be more than happy to go over that. Just let me know in the comments. And what I'll do here too is I will separate some of these out and put some examples in here, and I will leave this sheet in here. So here's an example of VLAs. Let's go back to here. Let's put this in our sheet. Ooh, it's going to be a little messy to do that. Insert. All right, I'll do this. I'll make sure this is done by the time you see this video, so no worries. You'll see it. Thank you so much, guys. All right, there we go. So now you have all the campaign types. I reordered it a little bit, and you will have VLAs, new model classic search, branding, competitor, and service all contextualized for you. Note if it doesn't have a red line in it or anything like that, it's the main ad that you see. And this competitor one, unfortunately, I couldn't get a competitor ad to trigger. So you have to note that if it says sponsored up here, then you know it's an actual competitor ad. Hope this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see anything else. I have other strategies and budget recommendations for each of these campaign types, and I can recommend budget percentages and allocations like that. But let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. Thank you so much. David Feldman-Makrias. See you next time.